Hi, love and friends. It's Chris Barr from Immaculate Healing. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for joining me today. Yeah. So I have a really great video for you guys today on the summer solstice today, is to know thyself, to transform thyself. Use your pain and catapult yourself out into your glorified self. So thank you for being here today. Stay tuned. Here we go. Dear ones, why is having a spiritual life so important? Because innately, no one describes the mystery that you are. Spiritual study is important to define who you are, and not with scraps of philosophy, but a long, patient study of thyself. What does this mean to know thyself? Right? How do we know thyself? What actions, if any, do we take to unencumber thyself? To know thyself means taking a good hard look at the narrative we have constructed about ourselves, which we have used to create our identities. And you see, this is in a new light in ways which promote healing, possibility, and possibly wisdom, right? This means that being willing to do the necessary work to unlearn old patterns of destructive behavior, old beliefs, old ways of thinking, old triggers of fight or flight responses, old reacting, and to start developing new ways of doing and perceiving thyself. By examining thyself, we reveal thyself, and then we start challenging the concepts we have locked ourselves in, such as, that's just the way I am, and it's always been that way. That's just what happens. To see none of this is inevitable, fated, or predetermined. It means beginning the process of mining within through self-examination and revealing the hidden gems within inside yourself. By mining within, we rise into a wiser response and a wiser self within. You are here to own, then embody it, and then be it, and so be it. There's every reason to unlock thyself and be even more now, divine ones. Let's unlock the chains that have bound your mind in the body. I want to explain to you so you start to understand your spirit, so you can gain knowledge for inner revelations and experience it in your own daily reality. And finally say, I see why I attract this. I see why this is happening. I see how I can change or alter this in a new way instead of the same old reacting way that never worked. You're here to own it, then embody it, and then so be it. Yeah, to you, right? You will gain fantastic insights and things in your beautiful life. The truth will unfold itself like the petals of your favorite flower. Truth can never be hidden, masked with lies, excuses, and blame. Maybe white painted with deception, yes, but in time all truth will be revealed as the morning sun shining on your favorite flower, and experiencing by the experiencing, truth is told as each petal of your favorite flower opens through your inner revelation. Because I tell you, great ones, of the highest, you can do something amazing with your life. You may say your friends on social media or a friend or a family can do something you can't right now. It doesn't mean it can't be done by you. That it's no reason to doubt yourself if you see no one else do it, or everyone else can do it but you. Get up and try again. Try a new approach. Never doubt yourself. Shake it off and try again. There's always reason to unlock yourself and be it even more now, okay? Not accomplishing it your first time is not indigenous to failure, or nor is it indigenous as that which is termed that these things are not just myth. They are the destiny of the human being. Once you find out what and who you are and who you really are, oh, what an exciting, expanding moment this is. You see, you're not going to do everything correctly the very first time, or the second time, or even the third, or even maybe even the third or the fourth or fifth. You'll suck at something in your life, right? You'll make a mistake, and more mistakes, and you will fail, and you'll make an embarrassment of yourself, right, over and over again, and this is okay. Maybe you will do it this way, right? And then you'll do it that way. Then you'll try it this way, and after 10 times, you'll get it. However, your petal on your favorite flower will open through personal experience. Then everything you learn from your mistakes becomes your own personal teachings. You are your teacher, right? You are your teachings. Be greater than your wildest dreams, divine ones. Those that go through the sickness, the transmutation of the old self, the cleansing of the unhealthy recessive genetic traits, the constant flu-like symptoms that are purifying and renewing their sacred body, temple through fever fire, right? Your brain is going to open, divine ones. Your new brain is fed the kingdom of heaven of God Goddess, the language of God Goddess, the subtleness of God Goddess that cannot even be uttered in a word. I know what you're all going through, okay? I have been going through it for some time now. I do not feel sorry or weak for you though, but I do have a deep, genuine compassion for you. You all fight to hold on to what you have been told. You fight to hold on to the we experiences that are hard to explain why you are sick. Instead of going back and saying it's the flu and it's the flu season, that's why I'm sick. You know the season in between spring and summer and fall and winter and spring? You justify this, that this is the reason I'm sick, when you are most likely going through a body transformation that feels like the flu. So many say I have the flu, but do you really have the flu? It may seem you do, but what if it was an alchemy process, not a limited phrase called it's the flu? Oh, my great self, this is a fever, this sickness, this bed sweats, this transmutation will bring me a new insight into a new level. I will rise into, I will be lifted after these sicknesses you all labeled it's the flu, which is a transformation process. It will raise you up to a loftier place in which to be new, and even you will tap into the higher mind and teach greater teachings. There are so many things that you have yet to become, dear one, and that you are destined to become, divine one, through the process of alchemy, flu-like symptoms. There are so many levels of understanding that must be reached and experienced, but can only be reached and experienced through introduction of knowledge. And those critical ingredients called willful passion on your part. You can only hear about them till they become nebulous, until they are experienced. These write-ups and these daily teachings that I teach are a school to experience, and your life is a school to experience, learn, grow, and attain more knowledge, Grandmaster. Those that go through the sickness, the transmutation of the old self, the cleansing of the unhealthy recessive genetic traits, the constant flu-like symptoms that are purifying and renewing their sacred body and their temples through fever fire. They will change. You will change. And you will experience what cannot be spoken, an alchemy unique to you, but similar to us all. The transmutation of the self into the soul and the higher mind. Your brain will open. Parts of your brain that may have been hurt or have been sore will flex and open. And with this comes a new depth to your innate knowledge and wisdom. The power of your unique frequency is being freed up, and you will no longer be fed on corruption and misguided teachings. You will not even be fed on that which is termed bigotry, shame, guilt, unhealthy anger, self-pity, doubt or fear, or addictions, and a generation of self-destruction. Instead, the new brain, your new brain, is being fed the kingdoms of God Goddess, the languages of God Goddess, the subtleness of God Goddess, that cannot even be uttered in a word. To experience, to be an ancient tree, a bear, an eagle, the colors of the rainbow, all aspects of earth. Consciousness and energy are not simply about spiritual metaphors in which a new way to approach life. It is being life. The cocoon into the butterfly is a natural cycle of being life. You, grand student here, listening to these words of transformation, who grows through the changes that physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually must go through the change, and indeed arise as a new form of life. If the wholeness of you is to be God Goddess, we are not going to pinpoint through that is God Goddess or a metaphysical practice that is God Goddess, but the whole being that is God Goddess. God Goddess, rise! There is no multitude of selves here, okay? Of lower self and higher self. There is, however, a multitude of experiences, which being the self. There is no higher self or lower self. There is, however, just one self, divine ones. Your body was designed to hold the most complex electrical systems of light, variables that make up and construct the true entity self. So there is no higher self or lower self here. There is, however, just one self. We would like to think we have many versions of self, but there is just the self. By saying there is a lower self, we are saying that there is something less than divine. We usually see the lower self as nasty, stupid, ugly, shameful, not me, and we want out of being the lower self. And we want nothing to do with the lower self immediately now. The higher self, however, we see as a virtuous, great, divine, holy, magnificent God, Goddess, holy, complete, and all we want to be is this higher self immediately now. People get very angry and upset here when they do things that are not from a higher self. Every experience is self, so love all the experiences of yourself. Experience, right? Every experience you perceived as being in lower self or higher self is really, in fact, you being in self. coming into wholeness, right? There is no duality and separation of spirit here. There is just unity, oneness, and remembering our greatness. We are already our higher selves, as self-locked in duality here on earth, thinking we are lower selves, needing to rise into our higher self, when in fact we are just ourself, higher and lower, just experiencing the limitless grandness of self. There is no multitude of selves here, a lower self and a higher self. There is, however, a multitude of experiences while being the self. Self is self. No matter how you view it yourself, the more I break free from duality and see we all wanted to grow up out of specific life to rediscover ourselves, the more I see we have always been our real self, just rediscovering ourselves, and God got us zillions of experiences here. Thank you for being here. Love everyone in their own experience and see everyone as complete and whole in their divine self. No one is lesser or more important than another one. We are all equal and experiencing our own self in different lights and spectrums right now. Next time someone says, I'm my higher self, this entity, this divine being, is experiencing himself in a positive belief systems. The self is both lower and higher self, coming into wholeness by rediscovering the greatness you have always been, which is self-experiencing the many contrasts of life. Basically, what I am saying here is we are not our limited self, but we are instead a collection of assimilated beliefs, values, and morals and programs from even many lifetimes before. We see the world by the many programs we carry, and some of the choices we made along the way have impacted this current life so much that it is making it feel like we are stuck in our limited self. You are not stuck in limited self, Divine One. You are experiencing the self by the many programs you carry. Change your programs, your patterns, and your beliefs, and you experience yourself in a new calmness of light, Divine One. So be it to you. You are a combination of beings as the self and the real self, or the spiritual self, or the true self, or the complete self, and are the whole self. However, you are also just one self. You have the physical being and the mental being, the emotional being and the spiritual intuitive being. You see, the combination of these four individual selves creates a powerful synergy for yourself, right? You could say a whole greater than the sum of its parts. The four selves that combine makes up the self, which represents the best results obtained, the optimal future you. The spiritual self and the optimal future self is that which you can and will become, a grand one that you are. If you desire to merge into a complete whole self, then form a center of energy of the self. Then call in and merge all four aspects of the self together. This real self is whole and complete and is available to you now. So be it. Every lifetime you have ever lived and experienced is recorded in your beingness, Divine One. All that was experienced, said, or spoken over each lifetime, the soul records it. And all this information, knowledge, and wisdom is at your fingertips. As you face yourself, unencumber yourself, heal and reveal the hurting self and the abandoned inner child within, unlock neo pockets of wisdom that carry you forward, use these neo pockets and your pain to leap and catapult you forward. Keep facing yourself, and as you do, rise into your innate intuition wisdom, right? All this innate wisdom within is never forgotten. You just have to get out of your own way, right? To access this wisdom, Divine One. Yes, you may have desires and expectations, but your higher self also has desires and expectations for you, Divine One, right? Your higher self wants to help you increase the volume of your voice. The higher self wants to raise you up to meet the challenge. Your higher self wants to build an alliance with expansion by being open to change and just allowing expansion in by letting go of everything that no longer serves you, Divine One. The higher self wants you to use your unique life story of how you rose into the light like a map, as a sense of direction for all those that want what you have to offer that comes to pass, Divine Ones. You know, a map to unencumber thyself and then rise into your soul power, a map of the soul power, a map of being in your power, a map to open in your higher mind. Then you use this map to relate to others and assist others. You are the map maker of your life, Divine One. When I say you're beautiful, this means you're coming into wholeness. The redefining of the self, that is what you're doing. The journey is to redefine the self and rise into the soul power. And for those of you who are just beginning, your journey has begun. Being honest with yourself is what's most important here, Divine Ones. My website is www.miraculite.com. Thank you for listening to me today. Thank you for being here. This is Chris Parr. Take care. Over and out. Woo!